بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. My dear brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, I am very happy that we are starting, inshallah, today a new series of tafsir of the Quran in Cambridge. And no doubt, actually, the Quran is the most important book that has been revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the mankind. There is nothing similar to the Quran. Though actually it is also true that this is the book actually that people did not respect it. Muslims don't respect it, and those who are not Muslims, they don't respect it. The book which is the most important book in the universe, it is a book actually very often neglected, ignored. People don't want to read it, don't want to understand it. So inshallah we will make effort to understand it as much as possible. The first thing about the book is that the book has been sent from the Creator, from our Lord, to us to guide us. The book is the guidance. The book is the book of instruction. Basically, it has come to instruct people how to live on the face of the earth. It is a book of instruction to teach people how to read the whole universe. The universe is like a book, but we don't know how to read it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us the book which tells us how to read this whole universe, how to understand it, how to understand the relation of the universe with its creator, and how to understand the relation of the human being with the rest of the universe, and how to understand the relation of the human being with their creator. So the book has come as a guidance, as instruction. Very important. And actually, if people follow the instruction, then the Quran makes very clear that the book becomes actually blessing for those people who follow the guidance. Blessing, good. Every good and everything will come to the people's life once they follow the book. That's why the Quran says, وَهَذَا ذِكْرٌ مُبَارَكٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ. This is a book, this is a reminder that we have sent down to the people. It is Mubarak. It is full of the blessings. It is full of the good from the heaven. If people follow the book, then their life will be full of the blessing. Everything that they need in this world, they will get it. And in the hereafter, there are much more blessings from the Creator. So the book actually is full of the blessings. People have to follow the guidance and they get the blessing. But for that blessing to come to the people, Quran has made two conditions. One is to think, to try to understand the guidance. The Quran says, Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka mubarakun liyadabbaru ayatihi. This is the book we have sent down to you, mubarakun, full of the blessing, liyadabbaru ayatihi, so they think and they make effort to understand its verses. So the blessing of the Quran is connected with thinking, with understanding the book. And another verse of the Quran said, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. This is the book we have sent down, Mubarak, full of the blessing, so follow it. From which we know actually, since the Quran is the guidance, book of instruction, reminder, book full of blessing, its blessings actually depends on two things. One is to make effort to understand the Quran, to think, to use our mind, to be thinker basically. Whenever Quran asks us to think, we have to think and try to understand. And second thing is, once we understand, we have to make effort to follow it. So Quran is not the book of lazy people, lazy in the mind or lazy in the action. Quran is the book of the people who are active. They must make effort to think. And once they have thought, understood properly, then they must make effort to act upon it. Once you understand it, then you have to move. So first make effort to understand the Quran. And once you understand and you are convinced, then the Quran wants you to move. You can't be sitting lazy. So laziness is not the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is actually very, very important. That's why the Quran actually has both things, Iman and Amal. People have to do things. It is not that you sit and then Allah will do for you. No, you have to do. You have to act upon it. Then you get the blessings. Blessings of the Quran, they will not come by sitting lazy, like lazy people. These two conditions we have to think, to take. First is that people must make effort to understand the Quran. And second thing is, people must make effort to follow the Quran, to act upon the guidance of the Quran. For this thing, there are a few conditions really. First thing is, when you come to the Quran, come as a believer. Don't start learning the Quran in order to find faults in it, to find problems, because the book is from your Lord. You have to respect it. To come as a believer, come to the Quran in order to understand it, not in order to raise the question, not in order to raise objection. No, try to understand. This book is from your Lord. To come as a believer, believe in it, and then I know that your benefit and all your interest, they lie in the book. So that why the first condition of the book is the people must come to the book as a believer and someone who has fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the Quran says, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done favor upon the believers that He sent among them a messenger who reads the Quran to them. So this is favor upon the believers. Quran only can be guidance and instruction, a reminder for those who are believers. And that's why the Quran said, ذَلِكَ كِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. So those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who want to live in this world according to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran is guidance for them. So the first condition of benefiting from the Quran is that you come to the Quran as a believer, as someone who has fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he wants to follow His command. The second condition of the Quran basically is very important really. That actually tells, that is the history of the Quran. The Quran was not revealed to the philosophers. Quran did not come to the Greek people. Quran did not come to Romans. Quran was not sent to Indians. Quran was not sent to Persians. Quran was sent to a particular people. Just look actually this. When Quran was sent, there were people in the world. There were philosophers in Greece. There were Romans, expert of the laws, and they have been ruling the world for a long time. There were Persians who have their own civilization. They have their own knowledge. There are Chinese. They have their own culture, their own history. There are Indians. They were expert of so many things. But none of those people have been chosen for the Quran. The creator of the mankind did not send the book to Romans. He did not send the book to Greeks. He did not send the book to Indians. He did not send the book to Chinese. He did not send the book to any other people. He sent the book to who? Quran said, it's هُوَ الَّذِي بَعَثَ فِي الْأُمِّيِّينَ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ. Quran was sent to the people who did not know reading and writing. Quran was sent to the people who did not have book before that. Quran said, the book has come to you and you did not have any book before that. Quran was sent to the people who had no philosophy, nothing. The simple people, their mind is empty. They basically are fully ready to follow the Quran. The people who are chosen for the Quran, they are who? Ummiyun. They are the people don't know reading and writing. They did not have any book before that. And their messenger himself is an Nabiyul Ummi, a prophet who does not know reading and writing, did not have any book, nothing for. Why? Why the people have been chosen like that? The reason basically is that when the Quran has been revealed to them, then they will come to the Quran without any philosophy, without anything else. They will come to the Quran to take from the Quran, not to give to the Quran. Many people, when they come to the Quran, they want to give to something to the Quran. They want to interpret the Quran, from their own understanding. And you can always find this. Any people who are learned, very often they have this problem. Because when it comes to the Quran, they want to impose their own understanding upon the Quran. Even actually among Muslims, people who later on become Muslim, many people who are very, very sincere. But they cannot think really to come to the Quran as empty, just to take from the Quran, not to give to the Quran. Even a simple thing like, I have been reading Maula Rum, Mathnavi of Maula Rum is one of the important texts in Islam, in Persian language, and the man is no doubt learned and expert of many things. But the problem is, when you read the Mathnavi, what happens is, as you can feel the effort that he wants to rewrite the Quran. Stories of the Quran in Mathnavi, but they look as rewritten. He wants to add things from himself. He wants to fill the gaps within the story. Quran does not want that really. Quran wants people to come to the Quran empty. Just take from the Quran, don't give anything to the Quran. So one of the conditions of the Quran is, it is a book for Ummiyin. People who believe that they have no guidance, Quran will guide them. People who believe that they have no knowledge, Quran will teach them. People who believe that nothing they have to offer to the people, and they take everything from the Quran. So this condition is there. Come to the Quran as Ummi. The people chosen for the Quran, they were Ummi people, and that became a condition. So when people come to the Quran as Ummi, and someone, nothing there, just they want to take everything from the Quran, then the Quran guides them, teaches them. So take this condition. And then another thing actually is, among all the languages, there used to be so many languages in the world basically. Greek language, highly developed language. Romans, they had their own Latin language. And there are so many languages in the Middle East. And there were Indian languages, Chinese language, so many languages. Among all the languages, Quran, the language that was chosen for the Quran, Arabic language. Arabic language has been chosen for the final word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That basically means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored Arabic language, that it can contain the meaning of the high, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah, the meanings, no language can contain it. And Arabic has been chosen. It means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Arabic language and made its history develop in a way that when the final book comes, then the language is able to receive it. And that no doubt really is. Arabic language by the time of the Quran was developed so highly that there was no language like that really. So rich in many, many things really. And when the Quran actually wants to transmit that high meaning, the Arabic language so easily receiving it, containing it. Now in our time really, if you want to make effort to translate many, many those words from Arabic language to any language, it is impossible to convey the same meaning. Very often we have to explain those words in many, many sentences. And you inshallah will see that there are people really who have translated the Quran in Urdu, in Persian, in English language, and so many efforts, and they are sincere people. But still everybody knows that it is impossible for them to convey the full message of the Quran. It is impossible to convey, to actually translate many, many single words of the Quran into any human language. So that's why one has to understand Quran is Arabic language. Translations of the Quran, they are not the Quran. They are an effort to understand the meaning of the Quran. If you want to understand the Quran properly, then you have to know the language of the Quran, and that is basically the Arabic language of the time of the Quran. No language can be equal to Arabic language in that sense. Whenever you read the translation, you get some meaning. And inshallah, when I explain these verses, you can see yourself really that when you read them in English, what you get. And when we explain them in Arabic, from Arabic properly, you can see how big difference there is really. I'm not doubting people's sincerity when they translate the Quran. They have done good effort really to make the book nearer to the mind of the people. But there's no doubt really, it is the inability of any language to basically convey the message of the Quran. It is impossible. So that's another condition, that people actually must have Arabic language. Another thing actually is, the book basically was revealed to the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam actually made dua, "Oh Allah, send among my descendants a messenger who recites your book and does this and this." Book was basically revealed in response to the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam for his family. So now actually another condition for the book is to understand actually is that you must understand this book is the book of your family. It is not an alien book. It is not a book revealed to Arab people, and we are not Arabs, it is not concerned to us. No. This book was revealed to your family. Understand really, if one of your ancestors, leaves behind a document and says that this is a document really useful, beneficial for all my descendants. When you grow up, you'd like to know the will and the writing of your ancestor. What document said? This document, the Quran, was basically document of our family. Ibrahim alayhi salam actually has made dua for his family, and now anybody who reads the Quran actually, they basically are from the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam. They should consider the book as their own book, not an alien book, not a book which came to other people. No, it came to you. It belongs to you. It belongs to your family. To treat the Quran as the book of your own family, a book which actually has been revealed to you, not to other people. So these are the basic conditions when you come to the Quran. Come to the Quran to take from it, to receive from it, not to give it to it, and then fulfill those conditions. When the people do this thing really, then the Quran really reveals to them, and then really the hearts of the people are softened. And as Quran actually says in so many verses, the people who read the Quran after this condition, they really cry, they weep, and the tears come from their heart, from their eyes. So many verses. I read few of them. You can see what understanding that the Quran means. وَإِذَا سَمِعُوا مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ تَرَى أَعْيُنَهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمْعِ. When they hear what has been sent down to the messenger, you will see their eyes, they're full of the tears. The tears come from their eye. مِمَّا عَرَفُوا مِنَ الْحَقِّ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا آمَنَّا. And then they say, "Oh our Lord, we believe in it." This is the impact of the Quran. When people read the Quran and understand it, what happens actually is the hearts become soft, the eyes become soft, and tears come out from the eyes, and the hearts come very quickly. Oh, our Lord, we believe in it. Similarly, the Quran says in another verse, الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ إِذَا يُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ يَخِرُّونَ لِلْأَذْقَانِ سُجَّدًا. People who were given the knowledge, whenever the Quran is revealed to them, when is Quran recited to them, these people, they bow their head and they say, Subhana Rabbina, in kana wa'du Rabbina la maf'ula. And then the Quran said, these people, they fall in the sajda with the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Quran said again, Allahu nazzala ahsana hadith, kitaba mutashabiha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent this book, and then Quran said this book, when discoverably the bodies of the people, they tremble in the fear. People actually so much fear of their Lord. But this fear is a fear which actually makes them to become active. Then the Quran said, after the fear, ثُمَّ تَلِينُ جُلُودُهُمْ وَقُلُوبُهُمْ إِلَىٰ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. It is not a fear that when people have become fear, then they leave. No. After that, their hearts become soft, and their skins become soft, and they want to understand the Quran. And then the Quran says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ ذِكْرًا كَثِيرًا وَسَبِّحُوهُ بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا. When the book comes, what actually happens? Then the people want to remember their Lord, and they want to follow His commands. The book basically comes and makes the heart soft, and makes the eyes soft. People cry, and then they make them to follow it, and then they make them to remember their Lord and to act upon His guidance. And there are many verses like that in the Quran. What I'm trying to say actually is, once people understand the book properly and receive the guidance, the impact will be on the whole body. The body will be tremble, the hearts will be full of the fear, eyes will actually be full of the tears. That's what should happen. If it does not happen, then it means really there is some problem in our understanding of the Quran. Because the people who receive the Quran, that's how it happened. The Prophet ﷺ, when he read the Quran, people actually explain how much fear used to be there. If anybody brings a big theory about the Quran, a lot of philosophy, and their life is not changed, and the Quran does not have impact on their hearts, on their eyes, basically there's something missing. Because people's understanding of the Quran means there must be fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their eyes must be full of the tears. So this actually, and that actually when the book came actually, it made that revolution. You can see really the people who were the worst enemy of the Quran, after reading the Quran and hearing the Quran, they became the best support of the Quran. That you can see in our time really. Whenever anybody comes with an idea, something really, abusing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or writing something as the Quran, what we start doing is protesting, and all those things going on in Muslim world really. This is not what the book is teaching really. The book said, you have got a treasure, you have a book really. Make your enemies read it. When they read the book, they will become like you. They will become supporters of the book. They will become actually supporters of the religion. They will be followers. Umar al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he left his house, why? To kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Umar al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala left his house and he said, today I'm going to kill the Prophet himself. He left the house to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But before coming back to his house, what happened to him? He became one of the best believers. How? By hearing the Quran. People will actually oppose the Quran. People will make mockery of the Quran. People will laugh at the Quran. But it is our duty really to bring Quran to them. And once they hear the Quran, once we explain to them, they will actually believe in the Quran and they become support of the Quran. This book actually is big treasure, source of the life, source of the guidance. It will change the whole world. We have got such a powerful book, and what actually happening is people laughing at us. It's our fault really. The book does not make any impact on our life. How can it make any impact on other people's life? So first try to understand the book. The book is very, very powerful. And I'm going to just tell a brief history of the revelation and how it changed really. A simple thing basically about the history of the Quran is that we divide the Quran into, very clear divisions really. Though there are so many other divisions, but two are very clear. One is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stayed with the Quran for 13 years in Makkah al-Mukarramah. And then he did hijrah to Madinah Munawwara, and the rest of the Quran was revealed to him in Madinah Munawwara. These are two different phases of his life. When he lived in Makkah and when he lived in Medina. The surahs which have been revealed to him in Makkah, they are different from the surahs which are revealed to him in Madinah Munawwara. The surahs which are revealed to Makkah al-Mukarramah, mostly they deal with the fundamentals of the religion, with the roots of the religion. They like roots of the tree. They discuss the Iman, belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Risala, belief in the messenger, and belief in the hereafter in so many different ways. So the revelation of the Quran in Makkah al-Mukarramah is like a warning. All the time, warning keeps coming and coming. Then the revelation in Madinah Munawwara, they basically are branches of those roots, those trees. So more like laws, more details. You can see there is a tree in Makkah al-Mukarramah and the branch comes out in Medina. So there are so many trees, So all the surah of Makkah al-Mukarramah, they are like roots of the tree. And the surah of Medina, they are like branches of the tree. And that's why the people who actually can see the Quran's division in different groups, they will see that every group of the surah starts with the surah of Makkah and then it ends with the surah of Medina. So roots of tree and then after that the branches. So Makkan surah, Medina surah. For example, we are now going to do the last group of the Quran. According to some people, Quran is divided into 7 groups. The last one is starting with Surah Al-Mulk. This is the last group of the Quran. This whole group is starting with the Surah of Makkah al-Mukarramah, Surah Makkiyah, and it ends with surahs which are from revealed in Medina, like Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, and some other surahs. They were revealed in Medina. So every group starts with some surah of Makkah and they end with other surahs of Medina. The roots and the branches of the tree. And it is very important really, because you can see really there are 2 major prophets before Islam. One is Ibrahim alayhi salam and one is Musa alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam is the one really, who explained to the people the roots of the religion. Ibrahim alayhi salam made very clear usul ad-din, the roots of the religion, the fundamentals of the religion. He made very, very clear what is the meaning of Islam, what is the meaning of Iman, what is the meaning of the messenger, what is the piety, how to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the Hanifiyya. All those basic concepts of Islam and basic beliefs of Islam, they have been explained by Ibrahim alayhi salam. Then after the Musa alayhi salam comes, and then he brings the details of the religion and the law. The religion basically combination of both revelation to Ibrahim alayhi salam and revelation to Musa alayhi salam. Both together put that is the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jews basically, they respected what was revealed to Musa alayhi salam, but very often they ignored what was revealed to Ibrahim alayhi salam. So that's why they become very dry basically. They disconnected the branches from the root. When the Quran came, Quran actually brought the unity between the roots and between the branches. The Quran basically came to put Makkah and Medina both together. People can see very clearly. And that you can see really the link of Makkah with both prophets, Ibrahim alayhi salam and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet Ibrahim also was in Makkah, and the Prophet starts his life in the Makkah al-Mukarramah. Makkah is actually the root of the religion. All the surahs which are revealed in Makkah al-Mukarramah, they discuss the main parts of the religion. Obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the piety, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, belief in Allah, in the day of judgment, the messenger, and all those details. And then surahs of Medina come about the details of the religion, about the Sharia, about the law. So these actually 2 different. That's why you can see really the surahs which were revealed to Makkah al-Mukarramah, many of them are very short surahs. They're short surahs, but they are really very, very powerful. And Arabs really, when those surahs were revealed, the power of the surah, they were, they could felt so easily. Some people, when they heard them, they became believers because the surah, really those surahs of Makkah al-Mukarramah, they are so powerful in their language, their style, and their meaning that people could not resist them, and they bowed their head to them, and they became believers. And other people, those who did not want to believe, they were not sincere, they knew that this book is going to make a change. It is going to bring a revolution in Arabia. So they opposed it, they became worst enemy. So these surahs, they made impact on both of them. Those people who have sincere hearts and those who were enemies on both of them. Really, no doubt really, when you read these last surahs of the Quran, Surah Al-Mulk and also other small surahs really, the really meaning is so powerful really, it shakes everybody. And that was actually one of the Indian poet actually, his name is Maulana Altaf Hussain Hali. He wrote a book which is called Musaddas Hali. This book is a small book in Urdu language, it's all poetry. But that book is the best summary in Urdu language of the history of Islam. From the time of the Prophet ﷺ until his time, nice summary of of the history of Islam, how Islam actually developed very nicely. So when he discussed about the Quran, such a nice thing he said really, and that is really what was happening in Arabia at that time. He said about the Quran, वो बिजली का कड़का था या सौत हादी Arab ki zameen jisne sare hila di. Very powerful poetic verse, really, no doubt, really. And in all the good speakers in India, they always refer, when they want to discuss the Quran, they always come to this poetic verse. वो बिजली का कड़का था या सौत हादी, अरब की ज़मीन जिसने सारे हिला दी. You know, the Quran was a thunder. You know, it was a thunderstorm. It was so powerful. Or it was the voice of the guide, the Hadi, you know, the prophet messenger. Arab ki zameen jisne sare hila di, a thunder, a voice which shook the whole Arabia. You know, the whole Arab land was shaken by the Quran. It's really very, very powerful. And you can see really, when you read this surah, they're really so powerful, how easily they have shaken the whole. And then you can see, and you know, the main theme of this surah really, the main theme actually is just warn. And warning only can come when you can shake the people. So these surahs, they're very effective in shaking the people, shaking the mind of the people, shaking the body of the people, and shaking the hearts of the people. And when you read actually, especially Surah Al-Mulk and Surah after that, they're really amazing, really. And they go so easily deep in the heart, and they really change the way we look at the universe. They make, the whole change. You know, and these surahs, you know, not only that really, the first thing actually, they make people to think. And then they make people, you know, and find out actually that this whole universe is not only, you know, created for you to enjoy them. No, they are a big responsibility. The one who created them, he is going to question you one day that how did you use them and how did you obey the master of the universe. And not only that, the surahs actually are talking very, very, you know, loudly that the people who, you know, who do not obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who do not understand who the creator is, these people, they are going to face the worst punishment in this world and also in the next world. Very powerful language and very, very clearly. So, you know, and that's why you can see really that, you know, people who actually heard the Quran in Makkah al-Mukarramah, you know, whether believers or unbelievers, everybody was shaken. In many unbelievers, for their own actually interest, they did not want to follow the Quran. But the language of the Quran was so dear to their heart, sometime in hiding. They used to come to the houses of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they hiding the hearing the Quran from behind the walls. They just want to, you know, that taste of the Quran. The Quran came really made such great impact on a lot of people, and they could easily see really this is a book not like our word. It is a book really, not our poetry. It is something they did not know how to say it. Even Utbah ibn Rabi'a, when he came to discuss with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, and to make a negotiation, and after whatever he said, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited to him few verses of the Quran, he was changed. He came to Arabs with another face. Whenever people, you know, heard any part of the Quran, they were changed. It really went deep in the heart of people. They knew the poetry, they knew the eloquent language of, you know, Arab people, they knew how the people speak. But this book is something different. It is not a poetry, it is not a prose, it is from their own language, but it is different. It is same words, they have, you know, Quran using the same words which Arab have been using. You know, the Quran actually same way, but still it is different. And difference was so clearly known to the people that they could not resist actually. They have to bow their head really. Even the unbelievers, they used to say, Ma hadha qawl al-bashar. This never can be human word. Impossible. No human can say these things. So this actually is the power of the language. So now, you know, we're coming to Surah Al-Mulk. This surah, as I mentioned really, is beginning of the last 7th group of the Quran. So as I mentioned, according to some people, the Quran is divided into 7 groups. And that's why the Quran says actually that, you know, as-sab'ul mathani. The Quran is like 7 parts which are repeated again and again. So, you know, it is 7 groups. This last group is starting with Surah Al-Mulk. This surah, you know, has a relation between, you know, with the surah before it and also with the surah which is coming after that, you know, relation. But first understand actually what this surah is containing. This surah actually makes, first thing is warning. This surah has come as a warning to the people that if they follow the commands of their Lord, what will happen, and if they don't follow the commands of their Lord and do not accept the revelation, what is going to happen to them. And the Quran makes very clear that this universe is not a place where 2 different powers act. No, only one power. The whole universe actually is ruled and governed by only one single power. So this is the major theme of the surah, a warning from someone who actually is alone in this whole universe. He is the creator, he is the ruler, he is the master, he is the governor. No other Lord work in this whole universe, he is the one. The life and death both are controlled by him. Nobody can give the life and nobody can bring the death. Both are governed by him, and every single minor and major thing that happening in this whole universe is only controlled by one. Then the Quran makes very clear, if you don't obey him, if you don't bow to him, then he can punish you, and nobody can save you from his punishment. So the book basically, the surah has come to make a very, very clear warning. In the surah before that, the Surah Al-Tahrim, it mentioned the story of 4 women. The Surah Al-Tahrim actually mentioned the story of 4 women. 2 women, they are unbelievers, and 2 women, they are example for the believers. Those 2 women who are unbelievers, one of them is wife of Nuh alayhi salam, the Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. His wife, she is unbeliever, and also wife of Lut alayhi salam. Both are unbelievers. Those 2 women who are believers, one of them is wife of Pharaoh, and one of them is Maryam alayhi salam, the mother of Jesus Christ. So these are 4 women mentioned. Quran makes very clear that there always have been people who are actually good heart, they believe, and there are people who don't believe. The Quran is making very clear to you, the thing is that people have to think in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the whole universe properly, use their mind. If they use their mind, they can understand really that the people who believe, they are people who are grateful to the favors of their Lord. People who do not think, they are ungrateful people. And also Quran is making very clear in this Surah Al-Mulk that the whole kingdom and the whole universe belongs to one creator, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And anybody who claims that they are the owner of the universe, and anybody who claims that they are the people who run the world, they are liars. And the example is in the last surah, that Fir'aun, Pharaoh of Egypt, he used to say what? Ana rabbukumul a'la, I am your highest Lord. He also used to say to the people, don't you see that the rivers of Egypt and everything in Egypt is ruled and governed by me? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the story that how you can be the ruler and master of the world when your own wife does not listen to you. Just think. You belong that the whole universe is under you. You are the highest Lord, Rabbukum al-A'la, and you say that the kingdom of Egypt is under you, and you control every water and land of Egypt. But look in your own house. Your wife rebel against you. She does not listen to you. How is your control? Quran is very, making very, very clear. So the summary of the message of this surah basically is, this thing, that people have to look one thing, that in this whole universe, there is no ownership. No one owns anything other than Allah, other than God. No one created anything other than God. And second thing is, this whole universe is ruled by only one law. That is the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No other law is there. Even the people who rebel against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their life is ruled by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their life and death actually under him. They were created by him. Even the people who rebel against him, they did not make themselves. They and their parents were made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. God made them and their parent. The Quran makes very clear that creation in this whole universe only belongs to the creator. There is no one owner of anything other than the creator. And second point is that after the creation, the whole universe is only run by one law. It is actually ruled by the laws of God, no other laws. So both ownership of the universe and the rule of the universe, both actually belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran makes very clear. When one looks at this, one actually becomes very, very clear to the mind that how strongly the whole universe is in the hand of God. How strongly. It is no doubt really that fully the whole universe is fully controlled by him. No one else control, including the human being. And nothing actually is out of the power of Allah. Nothing in the whole universe, nothing is out of the control of the creator. Everything under him. When actually somebody look at that, understand, becomes full of the fear. Just imagine really. Just imagine if you live in a state like people talk so much about Soviet Union, Russia in the past, where the people living there, and very often the people did not know really that their wives are spying against them. Children can spy against their parent. Parent can spy against their children. Friends can spy against the friend. If people don't know, just you think really, if you live in a society where you don't know really who is your enemy, and where you see that every single moment you are watched, every single moment every single moment of your life is recorded, can you live full of the fear? Just imagine really if all the time you are in the camera, every single thing that you do, is recorded fully in the camera, full of the fear. It is actually more than that really. This universe is more than that really. Every single moment, basically every single thing that we do really done by someone else. Every single moment that two angels, they record every single thing that we do. Every single moment really, every problem of our life is decided by someone else. We don't bring the problems to our life. Someone else sends problems to us. Every single moment, anything that makes us happy is not decided by us, by someone else. Nothing basically in this universe, whenever we move, whether we sleep, whether we anywhere, nothing is controlled by us. Whether we like or don't like really, every single moment we are moving to death, to die. Even if you sleep, when people sleep, they don't move. But one movement is happening, they are moving to the death. Every single moment people are moving to the death. Whether they are walking, whether you're sitting, whether you're happy, whether you're unhappy, everybody is moving very fast to death. It is really so frightening. When you look really how tightly, how closely people are controlled and how they're spied. Not only that really, in Soviet Union, wives could spy against the husbands. But in Allah's kingdom, even our parts of the body, they spy against us. Our hands, our eyes, our ears, our minds, our legs, nothing is ours. They basically will witness against us. If a God wants, he can use them against us and he can actually make them to witness against us. Nothing is ours actually. When you say I, nobody on the face of the universe can make clear what I means. That's why actually, you can see this surah really, it is so clearly that the whole universe is completely controlled by one, no one else. What the problem actually is, when the Quran says that people have to think, and when they think, they fear Allah. What is the problem? The first problem actually is that most people don't think. Quran makes very clear that most people, they don't use their faculties. We have given them the eyes, they don't use them. We have given them the hair, the ears to hear, they don't want to hear. We have given them mind to think, they don't think. Most people don't think. Those who think, they think very superficially. The two types of the people who think really. One of the people who think really that this universe is like a big table of the food, to how to make new experience, to make a new food, new types of food, and keep eating and keep eating. And they think, they have done such a big service to the humanity. Just imagine really, if there's somebody in your house, a good cook, and every time he makes a new food, how to make you to eat more and more, with all fats and, sugar and this and that. And every time, new thing comes, and he thinks he's thinker, because he thinks how to make, what will happen? It will ruin your health. This thinking is going to ruin you, because he's only thinking very temporarily. He's thinking how to make food delicious, you can eat more. But he does not think really, eating more will going to ruin you, going to destroy you. You are not meant to eat. So there are people actually, like many scientists, they think their purpose in the life basically is to think how to make this universe really in a way that people can use it in a better way, and then they can benefit from it as much as possible. They don't understand really that this is not the end. When you're doing this, you are harming the whole universe. Your knowledge is going to harm them. So this thinking is very superficial. Some people, their thinking basically is, just around them, self-importance. They think really in a way, as it looks that whole universe is made around them. They don't think really, it is connected to something else, to self-importance, like, the world, heavy champion, Muhammad Ali, when he got this title, what he said? He said his famous sentence that, now I feel what he said, I am the king of the world. I am the king of the world. This is, just he should think really, you are not king of the world. By receiving this title, nothing happened to you. You're still the same person. When you got the title, you are not king of the world. But what he said, I am the king of the world. This is the thing, basically not thinking. Think properly. Think properly. Everything, what is the I? Even the title that you got really, how did you get the title? Even your own birth, your creation is not yours. You did not make yourself. And the way you are made, who made you? Someone else. And what is I? I did not exist. Who made this I? When you say I am the king of the world, what is I? Where I is coming from? Not thinking. Very superficial thinking that the universe actually is around you. It is and that actually is the problem with many philosophers. Because somehow they realize actually the universe is made just to go around self-importance. The famous French philosopher René Descartes, no doubt he's a great philosopher of the 16th, 17th century, and in France, and did a lot of things. But the thing is that one of the major problems of the philosophy is, to find actually out your own existence. It is very difficult for the philosopher to prove that they exist. It is very, very difficult. In the philosophy, this is one of the most difficult thing really, to prove that you exist. Something which everybody knows. Everybody knows that they exist. But when it comes to prove, for the philosopher, this is the most difficult thing, because you never can have any argument which proves that you exist. There is no argument. All the philosophers know there is no single argument in this whole universe. There is no evidence which proves that you exist. So Descartes actually is known for his famous sentence, which everybody actually likes very much. What is he says, I think, therefore I exist. What is it? I think, therefore I exist. And people are amazed with this sentence. But it is full of the problems, really. This whole sentence is full of the problem. First thing, it is, just again self-importance. The thing is, when you say I think, therefore I exist, tell me what is the I in the first sentence. When you say I think, what is I? This thing, therefore I exist, it is a result. It is based on I think. First, prove to us what I think means. If you did not know yourself, if you don't know that I exist, you are saying I think is wrong. Because I think only can be right when you exist. And you did not know your existence before thinking. Then who is thinking? When you say I think, therefore I exist, this sentence which became very famous, but it actually full of the problem. And actually this sentence actually does not lead to any knowledge. It is basically saying is that A is A because A is A. Is it knowledge? A equals A because A equals A. Is it knowledge? This actually what sentence means. When you say I think, therefore I exist, meaning is A equals A because A equals A. Nothing. It does not start from anything. The thing basically has been, leave yourself for a while. Think properly. Think like that. I think, therefore God exists. This can be right thing, because you move from one point to other point. I think, therefore God exists. That can be right thing. Because when you think really, then there is someone who makes you think. If you say like that, I think, therefore God exists, it makes sense. That you are thinker, you thinking, that proves there is someone who made you to think. If somebody has said, I think, and therefore God exists, that sentence is full of the meaning. Not contrary, it actually gets some knowledge. Or you can say something like that really, that I am a small thinker, that proves there must be a big thinker. I think something, that means actually there must be someone who is a big thinker. Because I have a scope, I have a limit of thinking. There's somebody more than that. If people leave their importance, they can actually see that this was, there are so many ways really. I'm not going to, criticize the scientists and philosophers. I like them in a way really. At least they are the people who think. Most people even don't want to think. The Quran actually comes to the people to ask them think more. That's what Quran was. Quran is not against scientists, philosophers. Quran just wants them think more. You know how to use this universe. Just think about that. That actually this whole universe does not make any responsibility upon you. When someone has provided you this universe to enjoy, to benefit from that, there must be responsibility. And think also where it is going to lead you, where it is coming from. Think about that. Quran just wants you to think more. And don't think about yourself. Think actually the one who made you, there must be a purpose behind it. Why he made all those things. So this surah, inshallah, is going to teach actually us all those things. That to make you to look at the universe freshly, nicely, not from mind of philosopher or scientist, from a different mind, nicely. And that actually, I really appreciate one of the Persian poets very nicely. You can see the poets actually in this way are better thinker than many philosophers. So one of the Persian poets says very nicely, barg darakhtan sabz, barg darakhtan sabz, dar nazar hoshiyar, har waraq daftarest ma'rifat kirdagar. The poet said that the leaves are the green trees. The leaves that are on the green trees, you see all the leaves. Anybody who has a mind, when they look at these leaves, they can find that each leaf of the tree, it is like a book which teaches you how to understand and how to reach to your Lord. Every leaf actually leads you to your Lord. Every creation connects you to the Creator. Every single thing. They are not just enjoyment. When you eat the food, think really how they have come. Who made them for you? that you can enjoy them. And how it happened, and who made you to enjoy the food. So you can see really that God made the food, and God made you to receive the food. Who is the maker? How it happened? So, the people actually have to think properly. So this actually surah is going to make people, not only the surah, the whole Quran actually is making people to think properly, become more serious. And actually that's why this surah actually has come one important sentence. That in the day of judgment, when the people who did not think properly, they will be thrown in the fire of hell. Then the angels who are guarding the fire of hell, they will ask the people, what happened to you? Why it happened that you are now in the hell? You got a long life. You could have done nicely. What happened that your end became the fire? So they will say, لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Had we have been hearing and thinking properly, we would have not come here. Because we did not hear properly. The messengers came, we did not try to understand them. They came, they reminded us, we did not like to think. Now this is our end really. It is very big punishment for not thinking. Not think, because mind is faculty given by your Lord. He wants people to use them. Every single thing that he has given to the people for purpose of using. Mind has been given by him to think. If people don't think, then the punishment is there. The people must think before they die. And the other thing actually is about the whole thing is God reminds again that though he is the owner of the universe and he is the one who rules over the universe, mostly what happens actually in this world, when people get any power, they become arrogant. It always happens. As the saying is, power corrupts the people. Power corrupts the people, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when people get the power, they are corrupted. That saying is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to say, God wants to say that he is the creator, he is the universe, owner of the whole universe, and he is the controller and ruler, but he is not corrupt, he is not arrogant. He is full of the blessings. So there is a connection between his rule and between the blessings. He is owner and he is the controller, he is the ruler, but at the same time, he is full of the blessings and good for the people. Every good comes for the people. So there's connection between his kingdom, him being the king, and between all the good the favors that come to the people. And that why actually very often the Quran connects his rububiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then his Lord with the word Ar-Rahman. So very often, that's why I consider in this surah, Surah Al-Mulk, it starts with the word Tabaraka. Tabaraka means what? Full of the blessing, full of the good. But at the same time in this surah, there are so many times they mention what? The word Ar-Rahman. Because their connection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he created everything, he created everything out of mercy, Rahmah. And similarly, actually, there's only one surah in the Quran, another surah, which starts with the word Tabaraka, and that is Surah Al-Furqan. The Quran starts with that surah also starts with Tabaraka. In that surah again, Ar-Rahman has been mentioned 5 times. Ar-Rahman. So there is a big connection between Tabaraka and between Rahman. Rahman of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And similarly, actually, Surah Al-Rahman, which starts with the word Ar-Rahman, it ends with what? Ar-Rahmanu 'allama al-Quran. Then said what? فَتَبَارَكَ اسْمُ رَبِّكَ ذِي الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Rahma and Baraka. And then amazing thing is, in every other surah it says تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي or فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ or تَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. But in Surah Al-Rahman it says what? تَبَارَكَ اسْمُ رَبِّكَ. Name of your Lord. Why? Because that surah started with the name of the Lord, Ar-Rahman. So name of the Lord itself is actually full of the barakah and blessing. In that surah, ending it, that name of the Lord itself actually is full of the blessing and the rahmah. And you can see really in Surah Al-Rahman, because of the name of Rahman, all the blessings are connected with that attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now there is a big connection between these two things, Ar-Rahman and Tabarak, which actually I am going to explain, inshallah, a little bit more detail later on. But first try to understand the meaning of these words. Tabaraka. Tabaraka is coming from the word Baraka. Baraka is the root of the word Tabaraka. Barakatun. Barakatun means in Arabic language, al-khairul kathir. Something, plenty of good. Where something has plenty of good, you can say it has baraka. That baraka means, that we say in English, blessings. So anything that has got plenty good, you say it has something, which is baraka. So Tabaraka means someone who is full of the blessings, who is source of the blessings, who is source of everything that is good. Everything good comes from him. So Tabaraka means someone who is source of every blessing that the creation needs, who is source of every good that the creation needs. Every good in the universe and every blessing of the universe basically coming from a source. And the source is who? Allah, God himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. So that is Tabarak. That's why this word in Arabic language, Tabaraka, is never used except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tabaraka is not used for anyone else. You can use the Mubarak for anyone else. You can use anything. But Tabaraka is only used for God, for Allah. Tabaraka in the Quran never has been used for any human being, for anyone other than God. Though Mubarak can have been used, Isa Islam said about himself, Jesus Christ said, I am Mubarak, I am blessed. Allah blessed him. But Tabaraka means God, every attribute of God is full of the blessing. Tabaraka means the full of the blessing from every aspect. Means all the attributes of God, they are full of blessings and good for all the people. That Tabaraka. Tabaraka is someone who is source of every good and every blessing. Just tell me, how can you translate it? When you translate the word, it does not have the same meaning. Because whenever you have any meaning, any translation, it can be applied to any human being, to anything that has got a blessing. While the word Tabarak in Arabic language, it never can be used for anyone other than God. Arabs never have used this word for anyone other than God. Quran never used this word for other, because it basically means, Tabaraka means someone who is full of the blessings, and every attribute of that one is actually full of the blessings and full of the mercy and full of the good for every people. That is Tabaraka. Tabaraka basically. And that's why it also actually has another meaning. It implies that he must be high. Because the one who gives, the one who actually sent the mercy and the good to the people, he must be higher. So that's why the Tabaraka also implies that he must be higher. That I can see some people translate the Tabaraka as Ta'ala. Someone who is very high, very big, great. It is not the meaning. It is implication of the meaning. The meaning is someone who is source of all good and blessing for all the people and all the creation. And since he is the source, he must be very, very high. He must be great. So that is the meaning of Tabaraka. Then the word is Al-Mulk. What is the meaning of the Mulk? Again, it is a word which never can be translated really. Because whatever translation you bring really, it is not for translation. You can see in your translation the Quran, it is not for justice. To understand the word Mulk, you can understand it by looking that two adjectives, they are derived from this word in Arabic language. Malik and Malik. The two adjectives, they are made from the word Mulk in Arabic language. One is Malik and one is Malik. Malik means owner, the one who owns. And Malik means the ruler, the king, the one who rules. What I mean actually is, like for example, many of you own the houses, you own many properties, you own your own money. But it is not that you rule over them, not necessarily. Because sometimes it could be that the king asks you 10% or 15% of your ownership and you have to give. Sometimes you get a restriction that you cannot use your property, you cannot do this thing. So people are owners, but they are not rulers of their ownership. They cannot use them as they want. It is not impossible. On the other hand, actually, the kings are rulers. They are rulers. They can rule. They rule over everything, but they are not necessarily owner of everything. They don't own everything. The kings or the masters or the rulers of, like for in UK, the parliament or whatever, or the queen, they don't own everything, but they can rule. So people are owners, but they are not rulers, and they are rulers who are not owners. Actually, Mulk means both of them, ownership and the rule at the same time. Someone who is the Malik and Malik both. Mulk means having full ownership, and also Mulk means what? Having full right to use them. In Arabic language, for this purpose, we use actually two words. One is Al-Milk and one is Tasarruf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full ownership, and he has full right to use them. Or maybe leave it exactly. This thing has been explained in the Quran. In other verse, very, very nicely, Allah lahul khalqu wal amr. Allah is the one who creates, and he is the one who makes commands. So everything is made by him, and everything is run by his commands. So that basically meaning is, everything is created by him, so he is the full owner. And everything run by his law, everything actually ruled by him, so he is the full ruler. So Mulk has both meaning really, kingship and also ownership. So keep that meaning in mind. So first thing is Tabaraka, that full of the blessing, full of everything good, And the second thing, al-mulk, that full ownership and full right to rule and govern. So he is the governor. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٍ. And then qadir. Qadir basically means someone who has power over everything, but that power is permanent. In Arabic language, we have two adjectives. One is qadirun and one is qadirun. In Arabic language, there are two patterns, fa'ilun and fa'il. And both have little different meanings. Fa'il in Arabic language means something which is permanent, which continues with you all the time. For example, karimun. Karimun in Arabic language means noble. Nobility of the people all the time with them. It is not that you are noble in the morning and you are not noble in the evening. No, it all the time continues. So all those adjectives which are permanent, for them the pattern in Arabic language is fa'ilun, ay karimun, nabilun, sharifun. All those meanings means permanent. Those adjectives which are not permanent, they are sometime and they are not the other time. For that purpose, Arabs use what? Fa'ilun. Like for example, dhahibun, goer. If you go somewhere, you are dhahibun. But you can't keep going all your life. No, you go for a while, then you stop. Na'imun, sleeper. People don't sleep all their life, they sleep for a while. So all those adjectives which are for a time being, and they are not other time, for them in Arabic language what? Fa'ilun. And those who are permanent, for them it is fa'ilun. This thing to have the power over everything, that is something permanent with our Lord. This is his adjective all the time. You cannot think about God without him being Qadir. So Qadir is his permanent attribute all the time with him. It has no beginning, no end, all the time Qadir. So that is very important to understand. But sometime in Quran also he has been described as Qadir. Why? Because when it comes that other people show their power, so that what they use Qadir to show that no, his power over them. So like action happening. So Qadir basically is to show the action as they happening. And Qadir is to show that his attributes are for all the time. So sometime actually, for the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, same attributes, Quran has used both of them. Fa'ilun and fa'ilun, both of them. But fa'il means attribute which is all the time with the Creator, never separate from him. That is the meaning of Qadir. Tell me, can you translate that? Because in any language, Qadir and Qadir both have the same meaning. This difference of the meaning, that is only for Arabic language. Because Qadir means someone who is powerful, but not necessarily all the time. Qadir means somebody who is powerful all the time. The power never can be separated from him. People only can be Qadir, but they cannot be Qadir. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Qadir and Qadir both. So these, understand this word. And then now try to understand, Just a minute. Yeah, now, Tabarak alladhi. So this word Tabaraka, people who actually, made tafsir, because they have, translated them differently. Because the reason is, every meaning is, right for that. So for the Zamakhshari, one of the men, of Arabic language, he said, Tabaraka means Ta'ala wa Ta'azama. He's very higher, sublime, he's great. But as I mentioned actually, this is the implication of the meaning. The real meaning is he's the source of everything that is good. He's source of all blessing for the people. So that is Tabaraka. Now the Quran is saying, Tabaraka alladhi biyadihi al-mulk. Full of blessing and full of everything that is good is he in whose hand is the mulk. So the one who has got the ownership and the one who has got the command over everything, the one who has got rule over everything, he is full of the blessing. Then is coming وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٍ. Now this connection of this sentence, when you read in translation, it is not very clear. Because people think it is like a new sentence. It is not a new sentence. This thing وَهُوَ, it is connected with the word بِيَدِهِ. Meaning basically, if I translate literally, the meaning is full of the blessing is he in whose hand is the mulk and the one who is powerful over everything. So this huwa basically is again subject of Tabaraka. Yani full of the blessing is he in whose hand is the kingdom, the mulk, and full of blessing is he who has power over everything. Is it clear? So this وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٍ, he is the powerful over everything. It is not a new sentence. It is a sentence basically again subject of tabaraka.
Just to let you know that there's something in the background. So
Yeah, so what happened, for example, when you say and he is over, and and who, and blessed is and full of, not blessed really, the transition should be source of blessing, and source of blessing is also he, who is powerful over everything. So, this he is the subject of tabaraka. So one has to understand really there are two subjects for tabaraka. One is alladhi biyadihi, and the second one is wahuwa. So full of blessing is he, in whose hand is the mulk, and full of blessing is he who has power over everything. Basic meaning is full of blessing is he in whose hand is the mulk, and he is the same who has power over everything. This he has power over everything, this is not a new sentence. This is connected with alladhi. And actually I don't know very clearly English grammar, but if people who know Arabic grammar, I can tell them the way Arabs actually explain that alladhi is ismul mawsool, and biyadihi al-mulk is sila. We call it what? Sila. And wahuwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, this is connected with the sila. So when, for example, you say in English language, came to me he who is very kind. Came to me he who is very kind. And then you say, came to me he is very, very kind and very gentle. So this gentle basically is connected with the kind, with the second sentence. Similarly, wahuwa ala kulli shay'in qadir is connected with alladhi biyadihi al-mulk. Full of blessing is he in whose hand is the mulk, the kingship, and also the ownership, and who he is qadir, powerful over everything. Is it clear? Is it clear that the alladhi biyadihi al-mulk and huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, both are the subject of tabarak.